There's an epic battle brewing. Two sides firmly standing in defense. On one side, there are hobbits. No, I'm not talking of the filming of the prequel, The Hobbit. Peter Jackson and Howard Shore are nowhere in sight. Playing the role of the hobbits, at least according to the Wall Street Journal, is the Republican Party. You're just now insulted? Finally surprised? Boy, did you miss the Muggle train. These insults come so fast and furious, you think the ATF were behind them. A lot of you work and have personal lives, so I'll recap for you some of the offerings in just the past 2 years. All of the following stem from one trifling factor. Ultimately, President Obama. If you disagree with him on any issue or support cutting spending, you can expect the following civility and polite discourse. Robert Emanuel, fucking Republicans. Fareed Zakaria, a columnist on the Tea Party. We'll blow up the country if you don't listen to us. We'll hold the country hostage. Emmanuel Cleaver, a Democrat. Sugar-coated Satan sandwich. Yummy. Does that come with turkey? New York Times on the Tea Party. Hostage-taking terrorist. Bill Maher on Sarah Palin. A dumb cunt. Janice Baird Santori, Democrat, Tennessee, on female Republicans. You have to lift their skirts to find out if they're a woman. You sure can't find out by how they vote. Steve Ratner, an Obama czar. It's like a form of economic terrorism. I imagine these Tea Party guys are strapped with dynamite, standing in the middle of Times Square at rush hour and saying, either you do it my way or we're going to blow you up, ourselves up, and the whole country up with us. David Axelrod, White House liar, spokesman. After losing our AAA credit rating, the fact of the matter is, this is essentially a Tea Party downgrade. Really? Newsweek, on their newest cover for August 2011, on Bachman, the Queen of Rage. I didn't know she had that much rage pent up. And finally, get your ass in line. Oh, sorry, that was John Boner. He was supposed to be with us. The debt ceiling deal was reached. The losers, Republicans, Conservatives, and the Tea Party, basically America. The winners, Rhino Republicans, Democrats, and Liberals. John Bonehead Boner went from trillions to upper billions to lower billions to nothing in cuts. The final deal, or swindle, to speak more properly, was to initially cut $7 billion with more cuts over 10 years. Didn't work for Reagan or Bush, but Boner prefers to be doomed to repeat history. And increases the debt limit and baseline budget. To put it in terms every Hobbit, Muggle, or Nelwyn can understand, the total national debt of the United States is $14.5 trillion, over 100% of our annual GDP. That's gross domestic product. The total bonehead amount for 10 years is $917 billion, as scored by the CBO. And the increase in the baseline budget is 7% each year, which in 10 years is over, with interest, $7.5 trillion. So, now we have the numbers. Let's do the math. $14.5 trillion in national debt minus $917 billion equals $13.5 trillion. Okay. $13.5 trillion plus the $7.5 trillion over 10 years is $21 trillion. Oh. $21 trillion minus our current national debt of $14.5 trillion equals a net loss of over $6.5 billion. That's so easy any second grade Ferengi could see it. Oh, but we're not done. You see, since as a country we're broke and we've borrowed money in excess of over $2 trillion from other countries, China, Japan, others, which include enemies or those who just generally have ill will towards us, and are constantly borrowing, to the point where we pay from $2 to $5 billion a day on interest in those loans. We didn't have the money to pay for the spending increases Obama has proposed, or the extra $2 trillion in the debt ceiling that John Boner so graciously gave to him. We'll have to borrow that money from another country. That means higher daily interest rates and payments, which will be higher still, since we owe more and with no sign of paying off, and our credit rating has been lowered. That means adding significantly to the net loss. In conclusion to the math, we now reach total debt cut $0. Total spending cut $0. If by deal Crimea River Boner meant almost $1 trillion in net loss, then he got the deal for a lifetime. Meanwhile, he scoffs at the United States of rubes. The only thing ever on the table was us, not Obamacare, not cap and trade, which Obama crammed portions of down our throats anyway by passing parts of through orders, since the bill was DOA. Bet you didn't know that. Not anything Obama or the Democrats wanted. Heaven forbid we deprive them of their precious. Our beliefs, words, and our just stance were being chopped up on the table, while ignorant rhinos like John Boner, Mitch McConnell, and Eric Cantor assured us everything was going to be okay, while handing out the Ginsu knives. They decried compromise, while in the end the only thing compromised was our ethics, the will of the American people, and our financial stability. Meanwhile, fellow rhino John McCain joined in the thoughtless mind mob against conservatives, also calling us Hobbits. All over, a group of about 25 newly elected Republicans going under conservatives. They came to Washington like so many politicians before, promising to do our will, and while we lost one or two of them to the old Washington way, the rest in an unprecedented mass move held firm and did not yield. They came, sat down, and the rhinokins, like John Boner and Democrat in sheep's clothing McCain, said, "Okay, here's how we make sausages up here." And they promptly rejected that. In fact, no one of them joined in the sausage elite. None of them fly under any sexually suggestive meat banner. They may like bacon, wings, and even chicken nuggets. Their job is not to support the old sausage way. No. But they defend your right to make and consume sausage. Boner's very adamant about the sausage. I'm just saying. When it came time to support any one of the rhinokins' piss-poor efforts, they said no, save a couple of them, and the mysterious late join-in of the otherwise thoughtful and very intelligent Allen West. And for doing what's right, for keeping their promise, standing firm with a moral compass, the likes of which would only serve to deeply confuse Sheila Jackson Lee, they are attacked by their own party, verbally assaulted on the liberal news media, called terrorists, racists, and hobbits. All of that and more over a debt crisis that never existed, but the problematic issues of which were Democrat fraught. Default was thrown around like so many discs at a Frisbee championship. The president boldly lying in a scare tactic not new to himself on national television, telling seniors he couldn't guarantee their Social Security checks would go out August 2nd. Economic peril like no other was imminent. Never mind that, according to the U.S. Treasury, we actually reached the debt ceiling on May 13th, or that no one person could settle on the 2nd as the date. The 3rd, 6th, others were thrown about. A hell of a Frisbee month. Never mind that Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, etc. are totally separate from our national debt payments. Economics 101. Did Obama actually ever take it? Never mind that our government doesn't actually shut down. That non-essential employees, that's how they describe them by the way, and others are furloughed and paid later, while most still show up for work. All that is but sugar-free icing on the cake, assuming Michelle still allows us to have our cake and eat it too. The real deal on the matter is that we take in between 175 and 200 plus billion a month, enough to pay off our monthly debt, which was 29 billion in August. All Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, VA, and around 60% of the government. So, what shutdown? What default? There was never a crisis. The only issue was whether Obama, compelled by the 14th Amendment, would pay off the debt first, or be in violation of the law. The money was there. Even under the high debt from the last year or two of Bush, half incurred by a Democrat-held House, by the way, we were never too much in trouble of paying off the debt. Just under 3 years of one term, Obama skyrocketed the debt, not just content with driving the car into the ditch, but flooring it into the Grand Canyon, yelling, "Yeehaw!" and increased spending by over 40%. Spending like this is literally unprecedented. The debt procured by Obama is now over all debt from all the presidents before him. Total. But try to cut any of that and we're extremist hobbits. If anybody wanted to test the resolve of nerds and Frodo fans, just wait. The 2012 elections are closer than they appear. This isn't just a fight for Middle-earth. It's a fight for the middle class, our freedom, our liberty, and the maligned and attacked millionaires and billionaires. Never mind that if we taxed them all at 100% and took all their property, we couldn't even pay off a quarter of the national debt, to say nothing of our total U.S. debt. No, we got to eat the rich, what any old Marxist, communist, socialist-loving moron wants us to do. No, they don't taste like chicken, they taste like you and I, and unless you want to end us in economic cannibalism, we hobbits must unite. Eating the rich will never taste good, no matter how much paprika you shake on them. At this point, no amount of money from the rich can pay off our debt, and no country could bail us out either. How could they? No actual change in spending is occurring. There's no guarantee the debt will be paid off. Interest has to still be paid as well, and the baseline budget remains unaltered. The issue was never the Republicans, the Tea Party, cutting spending, reforming Social Security, whatever else Democrats will blame us for in the near future. It is the brazen fiscal irresponsibility of the Democrat Party, a fact put in stone by David Beers, head of Standard & Poor's, who downgraded us, on August 7th interview on Fox News, where he confirmed the itchy wallet spending as the real issue that led to the loss of our triple credit A rating. But thank God we have Democratic Party and John McCain on the real issue here, conservative hobbits. I'm sure once we've stamped all their IDs with an H and made them wear yellow circles, why, like magic, our AAA credit rating will return. But the most important issue was that this was the first of many battles to come. More debt ceiling battles, more spending cuts, the imminent collapse of Social Security and our country, maybe even the dollar. And Boner blinked and rolled over like a good wannabe blue dog on the first tiny battle. Since when, by the way, did being a hobbit constitute a bad thing? For those of you unaware, hobbits were the peaceful good guys in Lord of the Rings. But this door does so go both ways. If Republicans are hobbits, then Democrats are orcs, and that would make Obama Lord Sauron. And I guess that would leave John Boner feverishly grasping for something not good for him or anyone else in the role of Gollum. In conclusion, one does not simply walk into Mordor. They spend $14.5 trillion.